Brandy Facebook page and also over on my YouTube channel. My name is Brandy. I'm the owner and artist behind Brush by Brandy. And then behind the camera we have
Noah.
We have my son Noah. Noah's my 16-year-old. He was just falling asleep on the couch watching a movie, so try to wake him up today, guys. He's gonna need some help. He's been working most of the day as well. Let's see, you had water polo practice this morning and then went and worked. And so I don't know, you're probably pretty tired.
Yep.
Yeah. So usually my husband Sean is behind the camera. We found some scheduling conflicts with our kids' sports that we just could not figure a way around. We needed another driver basically. So I think next week will be the last week that you guys will be joined by Noah. But he's been helping us out this month and it's been a huge help that no teenager wants to do. But always small businesses are family businesses. So you guys, thank you for being patient with us and welcoming Noah and helping him along. He's done a great job. Okay, so I paint here live with you guys every Thursday evening at 6 p.m. And this week we're going to work on this piece that's behind me. Can you see the full piece in the camera?
YouTube, yes. Facebook, I'm going to have to like scoot
really
far back.
Really far back? Okay. Well, actually, let's start over on this side here. I have this one up on wheels, so I'll try to move this into your camera view so you don't have to move. Okay. The reason I want to start over here is I actually want to show this little part right here. I showed you guys the unfinished version of this on my Facebook and Instagram post today. And this was a beautiful piece, you guys. It's a beautiful piece of furniture. I've literally had this for years and I've offered it for sale as many different ways as I could think of. I had no takers on the unfinished piece of furniture. Here's the other thing I'll say is this had a lot of veneer damage. So anytime you have pieces that have curvature in the veneer like this, it's really unlikely that you're going to get them this old and in perfect condition. So this has a curve here, has curves here, and it needed a lot of gluing and a lot of patchwork for missing veneer. Now, I'm not going to say that it's not impossible. It wouldn't have been impossible to restore it. Obviously, I'm not going to replace this much veneer. It just has a lot of little spots, you know, nothing like huge where I would take the whole top off and put new veneer on the whole top. It was a lot of little spots. So I could have pieced in all that veneer, or I could try to faux paint this patchwork to look like wood and put it back to the wood finish. But honestly, like, I didn't have any takers on this as a wood stained piece. It's going to get painted. The internet will probably murder me for it, but I 100% stand behind it. But I am going to try to stay as classic as possible. I'm not going to do like, you know, fluorescent pink on this one or anything. I'm just going to try to keep it very clean and classic. And I'm actually taking my inspiration from one of my most popular finishes that I've never had a tutorial for. I didn't do it on camera, so I'm going to make a YouTube video for one of my most popular finishes, and I'm going to recreate it on this piece is what my plan is. All right, so is everyone on board?
No.
No. All right, the first thing I need to do, though, is I wanted to show you how I'm going to copy. I've got a repair that needs to be made down here. And I'll probably have you come in a little bit closer because I want to show right here. Can you see this piece of missing molding?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to show.
Closer. There's a glare from the sun.
Yeah, it's coming in that window. So if you can get it, you know, if you can lower it down, you'll probably get out of that line of that sun.
Ooh. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a genius. Oh.
There you go.
Yes,
down. Did that help?
Yes.
Okay. The light comes into my workspace a little bit weird this time of day after daylight savings. Okay, so what I'm showing is this little spot right here is missing a piece of molding, so I need to copy this. But the good thing is I've got copies of a good piece of molding on several spots on my buffet. And it's all going to be facing the right direction. So I'm just going to choose one and I'm going to copy it. I get asked all the time when I do this, how do you copy one that's facing the opposite direction? And the answer is usually, unless you can create a mold and invert it, that you usually don't create one that's facing a mirrored copy. You can create an exact copy, but usually not a mirrored copy. So if I was missing something on, you know, if I only had this one, this side, and I'm missing this side, unless I can turn it and have it be a mirrored copy or something like that, you're usually not going to get an exact mirrored copy. That's my unfortunate answer. Okay, so what I'm going to use to copy this, Actually, I have a video that I did this on a short on my Instagram that's got almost 1 million views on it. People really like this video. So what I'm going to use is this block of synthetic modeling clay. It is made by Alumilite, but when I made the video for this, who had it in stock was Stone Coat. And so I will give you guys a link for the synthetic modeling clay after I get off. If you want to comment in the comment section, I will send you the link to it because it's not very easy to find. So Alumilite makes it, but they actually were out of stock on their website, but one of their sister companies was not. Hang it up. I'll call him back.
All right.
I hope he's not watching because that was Noah's head coach that I just hung up on.
Yeah.
I'll call him back. Okay, so what it is it's a modeling clay, but how this is different from regular modeling clay that you would get at the craft store is it's a synthetic clay. So it's not made of like earthy materials that are going to dry out and get hard and crusty. So I've had this block for years. And I literally have been pulling this same section. This is the same section I pulled off when I got it, and I'm still reusing it. So I can use it as many times as I need to, ball it up, put it back on this block, and keep reusing it. And this is quite a big block. I think this is a 1 pound. Yeah, 1 pound, a 1 pound block. Show you the thickness of it in there.
Did you hit 1 million?
I think I did. I think I hit 1 million on this.
Cindy says 1 million. You're so popular.
Yeah, on this it's just a video short that was like, it like blew up, and it's just of using this modeling clay. So I don't know, we're basically going to do the same thing on this video tonight. What?
So boring.
Oh. I thought you were going to say Jonathan's trying to get a hold of me again.
No.
Okay.
He probably called me first.
So I can't use this side to make my copy, but I can use this piece right here. This is going to be the same piece that I'm missing because the moldings are consistent across this piece. So I'm going to use this piece right here, and where I'm missing it is from about this joint, and then there's a little seam. So I really just need this curve here. So I'm going to press my modeling clay onto the spot that I'm missing. Whoops. My piece is on wheels, so it wants to move. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I just need something flat. In this case, I'm just going to choose one of my molds. I just have a silicone mold. I just want something flat because I want to make a flat base on this. And the reason is that's going to be the bottom of my mold. I need to set it down, and I want it to have a flat base. Usually I just pull out, I don't know, any kind of flat surface. Here's a paper plate. I just need something that I can make a flat base on this with. And I just flatten out the base on that mold that I'm making, so that when I set it down, it will be as level as possible. The flatter, the better. Okay, and so I've got my area covered, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this piece of clay away. I don't need a release or anything on there. That looks pretty good.
Cindy wants clay so she can make toes.
Oh yeah, no, you can't do that. Well, you wouldn't really want to make anything with this clay because it will never dry. That's the whole point of it. It will never dry. So I've got my little mold that I made here. Can you guys see how it's got the curvature on there that I need? But what's going to happen if I pour resin in here? It's going to run right out the edges. So I need to create like a little dam on the ends.
This dance sucks.
So I just pulled off a little piece from the edge of my block. And I'm going to block off the ends. My piece of molding that I made is a little bit bigger than what I actually need, okay? So I just roughly blocked off the ends so that when I pour resin inside this, it's not going to want to run out the edges. And now I'm going to mix up some amazing casting resin.
June, it's not Sean, it's me.
Oh, Fireball June. Yeah, I saw pictures of you recently. You had fun at your event that you guys went to. Looked amazing. It's my son Noah. Sean is this month we just could not figure it out, so he has been taking my youngest son to his practice, and it just happens to be during my live. Usually we have a carpool, but for the month of May we have no carpool. So the other thing I want to do before I pour my resin into that mold is I have keyholes on here, and they're beautiful keyholes. I don't want to block them off, but they're not going to be functional. So I'm actually going to just put a mold over the top of them to make them look a little more fancy. What I probably will do, because on pieces like this where the key is intended to be the pull, you would usually have a key in here and you would turn it, and that would be how you pulled the cabinet open. Because I'm missing that key, I mean, I could try to go to every thrift store and find a match. I don't know, it would be a bear. I usually have a few in my collection, but nothing works. This is a really small petite key. So they're just going to be non-functional lock mechanisms, and I'm going to probably add some kind of handle on here. I'll either put like a knob in the center of these doors. These have pulls on them, but I think I'm just going to put a decorative keyhole so it doesn't look like it's noticeably missing the key. And so at the same time I'm pouring the resin for that, I'm also going to pour this keyhole mold from Redesign with Prima. All right, so before that, I want to take, I just got my little mold. Can you guys see down here?
Really clear.
I don't have like a table or anything to put this on. I just set my little mold on top of my paint can. I'm gonna dust it with a little bit of baby powder so that my resin will release a little bit easier. You can do this without, but what I found is it pulls a little bit of this blue clay away. So I'm gonna try this and see if that helps. We'll see. All right, my baby powder. And now I really need very little casting resin. Put another cup up here, yes. So I've got 2 little mixing cups out here. These have been used before. They're not new. I use them over and over and over again. My popsicle stick up here too?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, no worries. All right, and then I've got my amazing casting resin. My part B on this is getting a little bit old. The part B tends to age a little bit more, and then I've got my part A here. They're in different containers. I just put them in condiment containers from the Dollar Tree or whatever. And because this one ages a little bit faster, I have to replace the container more often, which is why they're not matching containers. It's the only reason. The top will start to stick and things like that. So I'm just going to roughly mix equal parts of my casting resin.
Do you use other molds other than Redesign with Prima molds?
I usually don't. This is mostly what I have. So I make my own molds with the clay. I have a massive collection of them, and I know what they have in their line. I think that's the biggest part is like, it's once you start following a line of products, I know what they have, what they make, I know what I've got. It just makes it easier for me to not change. I like the quality of them. They've got a variety of designs. You know, I've been collecting these for years now, so you get designs that have been phased out, but I still have them in my collection, and you can use them over and over again. They continuously come out with new designs, so my collection keeps growing and getting fresher. And they're always like useful designs that I like the style of. So I know people try to order them off, you know, I'm going to say the name, I hate saying this name, but Temu. And the quality's not great. No, the quality's not great. Obviously, you know, supporting small businesses is a big part of that. A lot of them are knockoff designs that are copyright violations for U.S. companies. You know, that's a big problem for me. So yeah, usually most of what I have in my collection and what I choose to use is from Redesign. Okay, so you guys notice I just sat and talked for a few minutes and I didn't mix my resin together. Nothing will happen as long as they're separated. It's once I put them in the same container. I've got about 30 seconds to stir.
Give you $1 to drink it.
All right, I'll take that. All right, I just used my paintbrush to stir it, and I'm going to pour the tiniest bit in this little mold that I made. If it's not perfectly clean, that's okay, because I will just drizzling it into the mold, making sure it fills that curve. Slowly finding all the edges of it. All right, and then I'm going to put the remainder in the keyhole that I want to make. And I've got a little extra, so I'm going to pour another keyhole that's next to it. And let's see what else. I'll do this one too, because this is a design I like. I never waste resin. I will always make sure that I use all of what I've mixed. And I just put them in a bin, and I'll pour out an extra pull out an extra keyhole if I need one. I over poured this one, but I'm just gonna leave it because it's easier to trim the edges than to try to clean off the excess. I've got a little bit more, so what else should we pour? Another keyhole, just random.
How do you store your molds?
Oh gosh. You guys want to see how I store my molds? It's actually a catastrophe right now. I've got them in like a box, and I store them on their ends. I'll just kind of demonstrate it, and hopefully it makes sense. Okay, so I have a box, and I store them on their ends. You're not gonna be able to. Don't take.
Oh yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. I store them on their. This one's an odd size, but I store them on their ends like this, and it's like a card catalog, and then I can just flip through it like a card catalog. So they're in just like a flat box, like from Costco, and I can just flip through it like this and see what designs I've got. And then the other thing I do is, let's find one that's pretty visible. They're all labeled on the back side. Probably can't read them, but most of these I know the names of by now. I write on the back side of them with Sharpie when I first get them. So I've got the name of the mold. They all have it, and then I just put them in the box, and I can flip through them and see which one I need. And that's just how I store those. Some of these are odd sizes, like this one will poke up higher than the others. That's a new size, but that's okay. It still works in the same fashion. You know, this one's a little bit wider. This is the size that most of them are. I think this is 6 inches by 9 inches, and these are 6 by 6, if I'm not mistaken. Does it say
No,
there?
let's try those. 6
Yeah.
by 6.
Okay. So my resin starts to turn white pretty quickly, and once those are solid white, I'll be able to remove them from the mold. So we'll come back to that, and then hopefully I'll be able to put this on tonight while you guys are on with me and show you how I'm going to piece in that missing molding. Okay, so if you guys looked on my page earlier, you saw that I have a piece that's my inspiration for this. And it's a shade of green that actually was a custom mix, a custom mix color. But I don't need a custom mix color because Wise-Owl paint actually has like the exact color in their
People
line.
will scam you. That's crazy.
Yes, it's true. It's true. I know that like kids like it. Like my son's all about ordering stuff for 3 cents. But usually if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start. We'll start on this door over here, and I'll show you. The inspiration piece, if you're not sure, you can look on my Facebook or my Instagram page, and it showed you what that inspiration piece was. It's actually just a 2-color blend. So we're going to just repeat that 2-color blend, and my 2 colors that I'm going to use are Wise-Owl paint in dried thyme, which is this deep green.
Is it dry?
No, it's wet.
Oh.
It's wet thyme.
Oh.
And this one is called Restoration. These are kind of old containers. I'm digging out the bottom of my paint containers. So actually, I usually like to use my Klingon S50 brush. Can this camera see?
Yeah, it can see everything.
Oh, that's YouTube. Okay, yeah. You guys get the panoramic.
You get the entire view.
Okay, I usually like to use my Klingon S50 brush is my favorite brush to use. I like the handle. I like the layout of the bristles on it, but because I'm digging out the bottom of paint containers, I'm going to use a long handle brush so that I don't have to stick my hand in there. So that's the reason I'm choosing these brushes tonight. It's nice to have a variety of brushes. And what I have on here so far, I cleaned this piece really well. I did any repairs that I needed to do, and I've got Wise-Owl primer in light gray. This piece is made of solid mahogany, and Wise-Owl's primer is a stain blocking primer and a gripping primer in one. So it literally will cover all of the bases. This piece is solid mahogany, which is known to be a wood that bleeds, meaning it's very oily, and those oils will have a tendency to seep through my paint and discolor it over time. So right now I'm just dipping and cleaning off the lid of my paint container. I love painting over a primer because your paint just lays on smoother. It gives you a really nice finish. I find it also helps to put a coat of primer on because I can see the piece in a unified color versus having a lot of wood grain on it. I am going to put a little bit of water on the surface, and the reason for that is I'm digging into a piece of molding right here, and the water just sort of helps the paint find those low places when it's a little bit thinner, it will sort of find all the details of that piece of molding and help my paint get into there. And then I kind of used a stippling motion to put the paint into that molding, kind of dig it in there. But then once I'm done and I've got it into that piece of molding, I'm going to come back and smooth out my brush strokes so that I don't have the little pock marks that stippling will make. Stippling is just when you use the tips of your bristles and just pounce them on the surface like that.
Fun fact, Wiseau's increasing their prices, so stockists in Canada are going to stop carrying anything from Wiseau.
Oh, you guys, I wish I could say that, you know, there was alternatives, but what it comes down to is just the economy and suppliers start getting expensive. Nobody ever wants to increase their prices. But when the supplies to manufacture go up or transport goes up, then all the things go up. So I'm sorry. You know, I use Wiseau because I love their product line. They've got the primer that I like, the brushes that I like. They've got the all-in-one with the enamel paint, 1 hour enamel. But what I hope to teach mostly is the techniques. Of course, not all product lines are the same, but a lot of times some of these techniques can be translated into something that's available locally. You know, that goes for my international followers too. A lot of times they can't get the products that I use. And so I hope that the techniques translate, and then it can be, you know, take what you can that might apply to locally available products. Does that make sense? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically frame out this door. Now again, because I don't have a key, my door is going to kind of pounce while I'm moving, which is a little annoying. And I'm going to go around the edge, and I've got a piece of curvature molding right here, and I'm going to kind of cut it off right on this side. The other thing I'll say is, because you guys know that I'm dipping into the bottom of this paint container, the paint gets a little bit thicker, right, because it's not brand new, so I'm probably using a little bit more water than I would right now had this been a brand new container. What did you do?
That scab fell off, and now I need to get the rest of it off.
What's that from?
Huh? That's from hopping the fence at work.
Nice. My child is covered in injuries, and that is either from work or from water polo usually. Okay, so I'm just going to go around the outer edges, and I'm making sure that I get into all the molding, because this has a very pretty molding around the edges that just frames out this door.
I'm bleeding out. I might die.
We're gonna miss you.
Oh. Okay.
It's been fun knowing you. All right, so he has to hop the fence at work because, like, it's at the community center, but nobody has keys for some reason, and they always put people on staff together when no one has a key, and then they have to hop the fence to open it. It's crazy.
Yeah. Pain in the butt.
Yeah, so he's asked for a key. I don't know. That's just.
I do nothing.
Yeah.
Today.
I won't go there on a. Yeah, I won't go there. Okay, so then I'm going to add a little bit of water, and I'm bringing this sort of into the center with a thin layer because I've added that water. So I'm just kind of thinning the paint out gradually as I go into the center.
Kimberly says bleeding eventually stops. But what happens if? Oh yeah, I get it. Yeah, if you bleed out, I guess it stops.
Yeah, eventually, one way or another.
Somehow.
Might be because you died. Okay, so I put some water in the center, so I've just got a really thin layer, and I'm just going to even that out. That's because I'm going to put that second color in the center, which is my restoration. And let's see, this container is a little more full, so I think I can do it with my Klingon S50 brush. I'm going to take a little bit of paint. I'm going to kind of do, I'm going to mix these colors right on top of each other on my paint finish. One challenge I'll say for this is it's going to be a challenge to get this consistent from this door to the center section to the other door. So another alternative would be you could mix these two colors into a container and have, wow, that is super annoying how that door pounces. And have this lighter color be already pre-mixed for you so that it's consistent every time. That's another option. Now add a little bit of water to this just to keep it in play, and I'm going to start working these colors together. I'm going to brush that green. This is still my brush from the Restoration, which is that creamy, it's kind of a beige color.
What colors are you using again?
This is Wise Owl paint in dried thyme and Restoration.
And you're matching the piece. You and the piece are twinning.
Oh, am I? Oh, yeah, huh. I'm wearing my shirt. I guess my shirt is dried thyme.
We could paint on your shirt.
All right, this is just my first coat, so I'm not super worried. Like if this door was a slight shade off of the center and the other door, I wouldn't worry about it on this coat. So what I've done there is I've just brushed through and over. I used horizontal and vertical brush strokes on that. And now I'm gonna come back with I'm gonna re-wet this. It's drying, my paint is drying rapid fast right now. And it's really, really warm in California today. So I do have my climate control on in my workspace, but my paint is just setting up really quickly. So I'm going to brush that water through it just to bring it back to life again, because it has started to set up, and I'm noticing that right away. So that water I just brushed out any watermarks I might have. And that's because I'm not ready for it to set up yet, but this is a water-based paint, which means I can add that little bit of water and keep it in play. This is Wise Owl's chalk synthesis paint, and I primarily use the chalk synthesis paint because I do a lot of multicolored finishes. A lot of people, if you use the 1 Hour Enamel, 1 Hour Enamel is a beautiful paint. I love it for solid, even, smooth, single color finishes, but it's not the best candidate for a blended finish. So that is the primary reason for my decision, and why I use so much of the chalk synthesis paint is because I do a lot of multicolored finishes. It is your artistic paint choice, and the 1 Hour Enamel is going to be your, classic, clean, smooth finishes, kitchen cabinets, front doors, bathroom vanities, anything like that. It can also be used on furniture. Okay, so really just kind of a subtle highlight. As I'm finishing it here, my brush stroke, my hand gets lighter and lighter. I mean, I'm putting less and less pressure on my brush as I go. That is a very subtle color difference. Very subtle, but my inspiration piece has a very subtle color difference. Not going to worry about perfecting this, but that's about the look that I'm going for. You'll notice some shading on the sample piece. The shading is coming from waxes. Other than that, it's only 2 paint colors. Again, that sample piece, you can see that I posted it today up on my Facebook page and my Instagram. When I put the YouTube video together, I'll include that photo so you can see where my inspiration is coming from. Okay, so this door piece here is done. I'm going to get this leg right here. This is done for a first coat. So I thought at first maybe I wanted the legs to be a little bit darker of a color, but now I'm thinking I probably just want to keep them. I just want to keep this very simple. I've noticed more and more that I'm tending towards simplicity in my finishes, a little bit less colorful. I don't know if that's personal taste or if that's trends right now, but I'm liking a little bit more simplicity, less, I used to do a lot more 3 color blends, and now I'm going towards more 2. Sometimes just 2 colors is all you need to just give that little highlight, and then I'll add wax for a shadowing effect. So I've got little moldings on these feet that I want to get into. Let's see, I'll talk a little bit more about the difference between the chalk synthesis paint and the 1 Hour Enamel. I do want to mention to you guys, we are allowed to say that there are some new colors coming out from Wise Owl in the 1 Hour Enamel line, and they are gorgeous. I literally just got them. So I'm excited to put together some pieces for you guys. I don't have a release date on them yet, except I can tell you that there are some new colors coming, and they're super fun. Okay, I'm going to open this door Doesn't have a latch on it. The reason I'm going to open it is because as I painted around the edge, some paint tends to gather in this gap right here. I'm going to go ahead and just clean that up before that paint dries and give myself a nice smooth paint finish on this edge. And I usually do this before that paint sets up so that I don't end up with pooling or puddling paint on the door edges. If you do, you can always sand them a little bit if your paint dries and you've got some puddling. But I try to get them before. Ooh, I got an echo now.
You got a shelf sitting.
Yeah, my shelves are a little
crooked.
It just has brackets in here, but obviously that'll.
I think you should leave it like that. Looks better.
And I'm gonna paint this door jamb right here. Use a little bit of water just because this edge that I've already done has started to dry, and I want that paint to mesh together. All right, and then I'll rebrush over this just so I don't have a line of brush strokes right there. All right, and then on the inside here, I'm gonna put a tape line. So I'm gonna use some painter's tape. And I've got sort of a line where you can tell, there's no molding or anything right there, but you can tell where the old finish stopped, and I'm going to stop my new finishes at the same place, just inside the door. Okay, so I just matched that line with my painter's tape, and that's where my finishes are going to stop. I don't want this paint to bleed through my painter's tape, so I'm not going to brush into it. I'm pulling away from the painter's tape. So that I'll get a nice smooth line there. The other option is to go ahead and put clear coat down underneath. I do not have my clear coat out, but I will get a nice clean line. I usually do something fun whenever I've got doors like this that open. I try to do something fun on the back side of the doors. I just like to open it and have something pretty back there. I have like some really pretty papers. I'll try to find something in my collection that ties in with the colors on the body of this piece, and I'll use that on the back side of these doors.
Can you start with 1 hour and then come back and finish up with chalk?
Yeah, you could, but here's what I'll say. The chalk synthesis paint grips a little better. Usually you want to use primer underneath your 1 hour enamel. So if you're just using it as your base, you'd have to put the primer down. I don't know that there's a reason why you would do that. It would give you a solid color, but you've got to put a primer underneath it. For the most part, you should put primer under the 1 hour enamel. And that's pretty common for all-in-one style paints, is that they just don't have the same gripping ability as a chalky style paint does. So if you're gonna have a base of primer, you might as well just paint over your primer. I'm trying to think, but you certainly can do some fun finishes with 1 hour enamel. You can use things like stencils and molds and glazes and waxes and all. You can still use all those kinds of things. It just is not ideal for blending the actual paint together. All right.
I'm bored. Can we do something else?
You're bored of painting? We're almost done. Let's check. I'm going to put my lid on here, and let's go ahead and check our molding that we made earlier, and I'll go ahead and put those on.
All right, one last time. Colors.
Dried thyme and restoration from Wise Owl Paint. All right, so now my molds have turned completely white. So I can come in, I just flex the silicone. And this was one of my keyhole options. It's got a little piece inside the keyhole. Can you guys see that? I want to get that out. I'll try to poke it out with my paintbrush. There we go. You can use a little pair of like nail scissors, works good for detail, taking out details like that. There is some flex in this when the molds are first poured. There is some flex in the resin. As this sets up, it will continue to get more and more firm. So if you want to put these on a curved surface, now is your chance. My paint is wet over here. I would not put the glue over my wet paint. So I will go ahead and we'll put these on this side. I actually think I might like this mold a little better for here. It's a little longer and skinnier. These were the two I poured. This one's smaller. Oh no, that's kind of cute too though. But this is a super flawed mold. This was the one I over poured. It's got a hunchback on it. I would pour this again. Or that long skinny.
Oh, Julie thinks I'm just helping you out. No, this is forced labor.
Yeah, it is. It is completely forced.
I did not choose to be here.
Okay, you choose to be here because you want to know. Okay, yesterday, this is my other complaint about working at the community center. How many split shifts did you work yesterday? 3. 3. My son does not have a driver's license yet. So that means for 3 shifts, we drove back and forth to the community center 6 times yesterday. Yeah. That is why you have forced labor.
Oh.
Okay, that was 6 times for you. Then your brothers also had swim team. So then I went there for
Stop
them
waiting.
too. Yeah. So I don't know. You guys can tell me what you think, whether you like this little petite guy or the long skinny keyhole. I'm leaning towards repouring the long skinny and putting those. I don't know. That's a nice one too. Anyway, so that's a decision I have to make. I'll probably have to step back and look at it before I put those on. Let's check out this one. This is our repair mold that I made here. So this clay, I will pop away from that. It doesn't pop as easily as the silicone does, but once I flex it, I can get underneath that resin, and I'm not going to break it. So I was hoping that putting a little bit, dusting my mold would keep it from getting the blue on it, but it didn't work. Didn't seem to make a difference at all. I still picked up a lot of the blue. It's okay, it's totally paintable. It just pulls the color off of that.
Hey, everybody is saying you have to go with the small one.
I have to what?
Nobody is saying go with the big one. Everybody's saying
really?
go with the small one.
Okay, that's super helpful because usually when it's like mixed, I'm not sure.
I have not had anybody say the big
right,
one.
well, you guys got easy for me. All right, and then I got a few pieces of resin that are extra on my block. I'm just going to pull them off and I'll discard those because I'm going to reuse this over and over again. So that's just a few pieces of extra resin. This is still pliable. I try to keep it clean. I don't want to get any like debris in here, so that's why I pulled the resin off. Okay, and that's totally reusable. It goes back in the Ziploc.
What happens if you eat it?
I don't know. It doesn't smell like I want to eat it. Yeah, safe and non-toxic, but still that does not mean food safe.
Not toxic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it.
This means it's non-toxic. No, it does turn your hands a little bit blue, but it does wash off. Okay, so then I need a pair of scissors because I got a little bit of excess. I poured it a little bigger than the actual size I needed. Let me grab scissors. All right, well, honestly, it's easier for me to use that small one because the small one's not flawed like the big one. All right, so I'm going to cut around wherever I got a little bit of excess.
The small one does not distract you from the original molding.
Okay, I like that too because I really want to keep this very, very, very like respectful to the piece. It's a really pretty piece of furniture. It doesn't need a lot. Okay, and I poured this way too big. So look at the size I've got here. It's too tall on the top, and this corner right here, so I can cut this corner. I'm going to cut it to a 45-degree angle. Okay, so I know that is where that will match up. And then I need to cut, I'd rather have this be too big than too small. So I marked that with my fingernail, and now I'm going to just cut off the top end of this. All right, I need this to be, let's see, it's not really a 45, it's a little less than that, so I'm going to try to find my angle on it. Oh, no, that's pretty good, because it does come to a point. All right, so I think that's pretty good, and I'm going to put it on while it's still got some flex to it, and that way I can kind of shape it to the exact curvature that I need.
Can the aluminum stuff turn the wood of your piece blue?
Turn the wood blue? Oh, like when I put it on and I first made the mold. No, it doesn't leave any residue on the piece. It's just, I think when the resin cures, it picks it up a lot more on the piece of resin. I mean, this is all I'm going to use here, and it's totally paintable. Just has like a blue residue over the top.
If it happens to turn your wood blue, what would you do?
I would just re-clean it, but I've never had that happen. Well, I also use it over the top of primer a lot.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so now I'm going to put some Type on Quick and Thick. This is my adhesive. Put some on the back. And I'm going to place this right in here. I'm still a little large.
That blue stuff, what is that? The
modeling clay.
Modeling clay is made by Alumilite.
It's made by Alumilite, but here's what I'm going to tell you. It's not available on the Alumilite website. So I know that's not helpful. If you guys comment, I will give you a link to it. It's hard to find. It's available through one of their sister companies right now, and I think it was just out of stock. I know that's confusing because I tell you the maker is still providing it to their sister company. I need a razor knife. Let's see if I can open these scissors up.
I can get you a razor knife. Let me get you a razor knife.
Because that 45-degree angle is not an exact 45, so if I cut it, it's okay. I got it with the scissors, baby.
Huh? Oh, we got it.
I got it. All right.
Oop.
And then I'm just going to match it up to the curvature. Press it into my glue. Match up the ends. And I'm going to let that dry. All right. And you guys can see, it probably stands out because it's blue, but I've got this little curve right here, which was exactly the piece that I'm missing, is exactly the right shape and size now. Since you guys like this small keyhole, let's go ahead and put this on too. I'm going to use the same Type on Quick and Thick. As far as putting the molds on, you can put them on underneath your primer. I'm going to put mine over the top of my primer, but I do try to put them on before my paint, and that way I'm painting it along with the body so it looks seamless.
People really like that green. What's the name of that green?
It's dried thyme, and it's a super pretty color. I really like this color too. It's like exactly the right shade of green. It's dried thyme from Wise Out Paint. There's a link in this post where you can find it. All right, so what I did is I just placed this keyhole has a hole in the mold, and I lined it up with my actual keyhole, and then I just placed my scissors in there to make sure that my keyhole is actually still accessible. It's just not as visible. You won't notice as much that it's just a keyhole that's missing a key. I'll make another one for this other side right here, and I'll let this dry. I'm not going to paint it though until my glue is dry, because otherwise if I put wet paint over that, my glue will never dry.
You should try it out. Let's see.
All right, so that's my couple of modifications, and then I don't know, I need to decide how I want to place the hardware on here. I thought about putting my hardware where the keyhole is, but the problem with that is I would have to take off the lock mechanism that's on the back because it's metal. And I kind of want to leave those intact. It's still the history of the piece. So I could put a big knob in the center here. I don't know, I need a way to open these doors. I've got to do something.
Center knob would look good.
Think a center knob would look good? If I did a center knob, I would put like a big mold on there, like this guy. And I'd put a beefy knob right in the center. It's something like that. In the center is probably how I would do that. I do have to drill a hole no matter what. I could also just put it right below my keyhole, just a simple knob right below my keyhole, like a dangly pull, just below where that metal lock mechanism sits, which would be right about, let me find my placement.
Here, hold on, let me get that keyhole right there that looks very nice.
See that? Okay, so that's glued on, and I seed it in while my resin is still nice and soft, and it makes them look pretty seamless. I don't know, I'm really on the fence. I could put a knob in, if I found the center on my door. So where's center on here? 24.5, so 12.25. So funny enough, center is literally right at the base of that mold. I could put a knob in there if I put it over here, or I do the center. That's kind of my choices. I don't know, sometimes I need to get paint on and sit back and look at it before I can make those kind of decisions. It's drilling a hole so you get one shot at it, right?
No, you could fill the hole and then make another hole.
That
and
is-
fill that hole and
That's,
make another hole.
that's actually true. That is actually true. I could do it that way if I wanted to. But, you know, sometimes we do make things harder on ourselves, right? I'll try to work smarter. All right, you guys, I'm going to pop off. The colors that I used again are Wysall paint in dried thyme, which is the green, and then Restoration is my highlight in the center. This is just my first coat. Once I do a second coat, you'll really see that nice highlight, and I'll perfect it using my Klingon block brush. Get a really nice smooth blend on here, and then I'll use waxes to shade it and stuff. I think we will actually work on this piece again next week, next Thursday. And these will be nice and dry, so I'll try to get a base coat on here so we can come back and do a second coat on the same door that we started on. Okay, you guys, so I will have a video coming out on my YouTube channel this week. So if you guys aren't already, subscribe at Brush by Brandy on YouTube. And let's see, I also am going to be at Painters Business Academy, and it's coming up. They have a few tickets left. I think it was at 10 earlier this week, so it's probably less than that now. So if you've been on the fence, they have the option of day tickets, tickets that include lodging. It's in the Atlanta, Georgia area, and it's at the last weekend in June. So June 28th through 30th. Lake Lanier Island, which is near Atlanta. It's about an hour outside the airport. We're gonna have food, we're gonna have social time. Annie Sloan will be there. Wysall paint will be there. Maybe I should use some dried thyme. Do you guys want to see this color in person? I'll put it on my supply list. I've been on the fence about my color choices for that. So this might be a color you see in person. If you have color requests or techniques you would like to see there, definitely message me. I'd love to know what you guys would like to learn and see in person, and I can try to incorporate that into my presentation for you guys. There will be hands-on projects to work on with the brands, demonstrations. It's going to have business topics and painting techniques, and it's just it touches on a lot of everything. It's a great event that I like being a part of. This will be my 3rd year. So check out Painters Business Academy. I do have a coupon code for you guys. Brandy PBA for Painters Business Academy. We'll save you guys at checkout on that one. All right, I will pop off. Let's see, you guys, we are coming to the end of June, or at the end of May. Next time I see you, it's going to be June. Everybody have a great weekend. I hope you had a wonderful Memorial Day, and I will catch you guys next week.